In this theory video, we are going to look at major scales. Major scales are the foundation that we use in this series of videos to build all the other theoretical elements. There are different ways to work out major scales which we will unpack in this series, but first we will look at the traditional way of working out and writing major scales. The traditional way to write major scale is by using the following recipe: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. In our previous video, Music Theory Foundation Skills, we unpacked what a tone and a semitone are. We are now going to use these skills to write major scales. To make this recipe work, we need to use the chromatic scale, all the 12 notes in Western music theory mapped out in sequence, as a basis, and the best way to do this is using the chromatic clock. This way we can easily apply the recipe as we move through the notes in Western music to build major scales. To apply the recipe, you first need to select a note to start from. We will choose A. Now we apply the formula tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, moving away from A. A tone from A is B. A tone from B is C sharp or D flat. A semitone from C sharp or D flat is D. A tone from D is E. A tone from E is F sharp or G flat, and a tone from F sharp or G flat is G sharp or A flat, and a semitone from G sharp or A flat is back to A where we started. Now, after applying the formula to the chromatic clock, starting on A, we have ended up with the following notes in our A major scale. We now need to tidy this up to make it easier to use and read, and to do this we need to decide which sharp or flat we are going to use in this scale. To help us, we need to apply a few simple rules to our major scale. Major scales, number 1, must use every note or letter in the alphabet. Number 2, must use the alphabet letters in sequence or order. Number 3, cannot use both sharps and flats, it's either one or the other. Number 4, cannot use the same letter or note twice, except for the octave. So, applying these rules helps us to create the A major scale properly. We have to use the C sharp, not the D flat, because C is the next letter in the sequence, and we use D as the next note in the scale. We have to use F sharp, not G flat, because our previous use of C sharp means that we are not allowed to use any flats in this major scale. And we have to use G sharp, not A flat, because like the previous step, our use of sharps means that we are not allowed to use flats. So goodbye A flat. And there you have it. The notes in the A major scale are A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. And as you can see, the rules have been met. Number 1, every note or letter in the alphabet has been used. Number 2, all the alphabet letters appear in sequence or in order. Number 3, we have only used sharps and there are no flat notes. Number 4, we have not used any letter or note twice except for the octave. Now we have a correct A major scale. On the stave, the A major scale, which we have worked out, looks like this. Notice that the C has a sharp sign before it to say it's a C sharp. The F has a sharp sign before it to say it is an F sharp, and the G has a sharp sign before it to tell us it's a G sharp. These sharp signs are called accidentals. This method always works. This time, we will start on F to prove the point. To apply the recipe, we first need to select a note to start from. This time, we're going to choose F. Now, we apply the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone recipe to the chromatic clock. So F to G is a tone, G to A is a tone, A to A sharp or B flat is a semitone, A sharp or B flat to C is a tone, C to D is a tone, D to E is a tone, and E to F is a semitone, and we're back where we started. Now, after applying the formula to the chromatic clock starting on F, we have ended up with the following notes in our F major scale. Now we need to apply the major scale rules to tidy it up. Remember, we must use every note or letter in the alphabet. We must use the alphabet letters in sequence or in order. We cannot use both sharps and flats, it's either one or the other. And we cannot use the same letter or note twice, except for the octave. We have to use the B flat instead of the A sharp because we've already used the letter A for the previous note. So goodbye A sharp. And now our F major scale is correct. Every note or letter in the alphabet has been used. All the alphabet letters appear in sequence or in order. We have only used flats and there are no sharp notes. And we have not used any letters or note twice, except for the octave. On the stave, the F major scale looks like this. Notice that the B has the accidental of a B flat in front of it to remind us that that note is supposed to be B flat. It doesn't matter what note you start on, it always works. Let's do it once more. This time, let's start on a flat note. To apply the recipe, you first need to select a note to start from. This time, we will choose B flat. Now, we apply the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone recipe. B flat to C is a tone, C to D is a tone, D to D sharp or E flat is a semitone, D sharp or E flat to F is a tone, F to G is a tone, G to A is a tone, and A to A sharp or B flat is a semitone, and we're back where we started. Now, after applying the formula to the chromatic clock starting on B flat, we've ended up with the following notes in our B flat major scale. Now we need to apply the major scale rules to tidy it up. So remember, we must use every letter in the alphabet. We must use the alphabet letters in sequence or in order. We cannot use both sharps and flats, it's either one or the other. And we cannot use the same letter twice, except for the octave. We have to use B flat instead of A sharp because we're working out the B flat major scale. And you can't have the A sharp if it's a B flat major scale, so goodbye A sharp. We use the E flat instead of the D sharp because we have already used B flat, which means that we are not allowed to use sharps in this major scale. So goodbye D sharp. Also, we've already used D for the previous note. Now we have our correct B flat major scale. Every note or letter in the alphabet has been used. All the alphabet letters appear in sequence and in order. We have only used flats, there are no sharp notes. And we have not used any letter or note twice, except for the octave. On the stave, this B flat major scale looks like this, noticing that the B flat and the E flat both have the accidental flat sign before it to remind us that they're supposed to be flat. And that's it. You can now apply the major scale recipe to any note to build a major scale. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. There is a faster way of working out major scales which we will look at in our next video, so please check it out. We hope you found this video useful and you are now able to write out major scales using the traditional recipe. Thanks for watching.